So far, this video has not gone as planned at all. Let me explain. A couple weeks ago at the beginning of winter, Brett and I took out this really small hot tent into the backwoods of McCall, where I am now. And that trip didn't go very well either. It was just really cold. It was really uncomfortable. We slept on the ground. And I decided right then, if I'm going to do winter backpacking in the backcountry, I'm not gonna take a hot tent. I'm just gonna take my regular mountaineering tent and go out. And I have been doing that with success. But I still like the idea of the hot tent. But I figured if you're gonna do the hot tent, do it not as a backpacking trip, but more of like closer to the car. More car camping in the winter. And with a bigger tent and a bigger stove. So I sold that little hot tent and bought a bigger white duck bell tent and a bigger stove. Stove's kind of a piece of shit, but it was cheap. It was on Amazon. So I bought the tent, bought the stove, and we planned a trip. It is New Year's Day today, January 1st. It looks warm and sunny out right now, but it's actually only 10 degrees. And tonight we're gonna have a low of -10. Unfortunately, all the road systems here change in the winter. I don't know what's been plowed, what hasn't been plowed. I ordered a large sled from Cabela's about 3 weeks ago, and it still hasn't come in. So I don't have my sled yet. I need to be really close to the car. But I still want to camp. I still want to be out in the snow. I still want to use my bell tent. So, I'm not even gonna try to fake it with you guys. We have decided to just camp and set up our camp in Brett's backyard in McCall. Yep. You know, probably a good idea since I haven't ever slept in this bell tent before, and it's probably a good idea to test it before I start taking it out and going out alone with it. So whatever, it'll still be a fun video. We'll learn a lot. We'll do some glamping in the backyard. And hey, this might be a fun setup for us to learn. A winter glamping setup that you can set up in your own backyard for the kids and maybe not have a super hardcore adventure in the backcountry, but it'll still be a backyard adventure that you could always bail out and get warm in your house. So we're gonna find a spot, and the bonus to setting this all up in Brett's backyard is I think we're gonna use a snowblower.
Well, there's rocks and shit. Get that little one to work well. So Brett brought out the big guy.
Other thing I don't have yet that I really think I need is a bigger shovel. My snow claw, my little shovel that I love to take backpacking, is definitely not gonna work with this kind of snow.
Boyke, you're ruining my shot. Or are you making the shot, Boyke?
Yeah, it's gonna be the video.
This is White Duck's Regatta bell tent. This thing weighs 50 pounds. This is the 10-foot model. They make it in an 8-foot model, a 10-foot model, a 13-foot model, and a 16-foot model. I went for the 10-foot model because, I don't know, since I might be staying in it by myself, I don't want too much space because that's just more space that you're gonna have to heat. So I think the 10 is the right size and weight. I can still fit Brett if he ever, doesn't wuss out and actually wants to come out in this thing. So, hey, we have this long walk back to our spot.
For the record, I don't think I'm joining him in the winter.
So the first thing that I like to do for this is lay down a tarp. All right, we gotta find the door.
All right, there's your kit with stakes, hammer. This all comes with it too. Right out of the box, this thing is ready to go. Found something, there we go.
This is embarrassing.
That is not good, that is not good. That's in.
9-minute long clip so far.
Nice.
Just,
As long as you're not shooting it in 120 again like an asshole.
No, you're gonna drop it on the timeline and some Q and W's and cut this video in record speed. This definitely looks like how you're supposed to do it.
All right, now we have the door pull. Okay, we're gonna let this just fall. So, bam. No, well, I'll have a stove.
Got a stove.
And these, we stake out the guy lines. I was saying earlier, I might need some like snow stakes. These are big honking stakes, but okay, we can adjust these later. So technology has just come such a long way. You don't have to be cold. Famous last words.
Yeah, technology, a metal box for a stove. It's high-tech technology right there. Also, while I have you, if any of you guys have insurance needs, let me know. Starting February 1st, I am your guy. I'm now Brett from State Farm.
Oh my God, Brett, really?
So give me a call. I'll have John
Shameless.
link my contact info.
Shameless. I will put that in the video because I love you so much, Brett. So then you can also adjust with just these little red clips. So, hi.
Hello.
Get kicked out of the house?
Yeah.
Yep. All right, so there's a welding blanket. You need one of these. This is gonna go on the floor and our stove's gonna go on top of this. Obviously, if embers or something come off the stove, this should protect it, keeps you from lighting your tent on fire. So this goes in here. Go on in, Brett. And you know, we'll have a lot of wood in here and just crap that is gonna get dirty and damage your tent. So this is nice to have just on the bottom, right there. And our stove is gonna go in that. And then this is obviously where the chimney goes. You gotta cut this out yourself. So I just made a nice little cut in there. And that is where our chimney will go. So next step is to get the stove. All right, this is our stove. This one's a cheap one from Amazon. It's kind of a POS, but it works. Everything's in here. The chimney, the legs, all that. Now I do like this little top on this chimney. Just like, remember how the last one had all that nasty black stuff coming out of it? That's because it was wet and the water was coming through it. It's like, you gotta have something like this going. Ah! Whoops!
Nailed it. Here, let me hold this.
You hold this.
Yeah.
Ooh. Okay, there you have it. So right now, the way they're flipped out, you can lay your socks, even small pieces of wood that might be wet on this thing and dry them out. And then you flip in like this, and now you have a surface to put your cooking stuff on. We have our stove, we have our tent set up. Let's grab some lunch. One of the benefits of not being out in the wild, actually use a grill. We don't actually have to use the stove to cook today, all right? We can actually use the grill on the patio.
As God intended.
Yeah, as God intended. Where's the tent?
Make fresh coffee.
Oh, the tent's back there. Yeah.
Now, one of the problems we had last time we were using a wood burning stove is the obvious. When you're sleeping for 8 hours, is it going to continue to burn and produce heat? There's a couple of ways you can get around this. One is you can just use coal. A few lumps of coal will burn all night. The other thing you can do is get like a pack of these Duralogs right here. These burn for 4 hours each. So I'll place one in the stove before I go to bed. And then I'll probably set an alarm to wake me up at 4 hours so I can get one back in there and finish off the sleep. My lighting system are these cheap USB lights. They're really cool. They're unbreakable. These are plastic, so they won't break. You won't have glass shattering inside your tent. That would be really bad. And they just plug in with USB power. I have this big 500 watt solar generator from ROCKPALS, which I found to be a really good buy, and is just, I've had it for a while now. Just sits in my car. It works really well. It's much better priced than the Goal Zeros, and I love it. I'm a big fan of this product. I talk about it a lot in my other videos, but in the wintertime, the cold comes from the ground. It's a little less of a problem in here because I will be sleeping on a cot, but I don't want to be walking around in my big heavy boots all night. With this white duck tent, we do have more insulation on the ground. It's a thicker floor. I've got the tarp underneath it. That helps. But then I also have placed, obviously, our welder's blanket here on this side of the tent to protect from the stove and the heat there. And then I have a really thick, cheap wool blanket over here on this side that you could see. These things are just nasty to sleep on. They're kind of scratchy, kind of itchy. But for a floor, it works great. I don't care about dinging it up or getting mud on it because I am not sleeping on this thing. But in terms of insulation and walking around and moving on it, and it just taking this snow and being waterproof, works awesome as a floor. Okay, so now what I'll be sleeping on tonight. First of all, I truly believe that you should plan your sleeping setup for any sleeping setup that you have going on in the wintertime for the possibility that your stove or your primary heat source will stop working. So the first part of the system is the REI cot. This is just their standard cot. It costs $100. They have a few cots. This one is fantastic. It's lightweight, it's super comfy, it's super easy to set up with just a quick pull and strap pull attachment. It gets you off the ground. Next, I have my Sea to Summit Etherlight Extreme sleeping pad on here. I do have my Thermarest X Therm with that 6.9 R value that's even warmer than this thing, but I find this thing to be more comfortable. It's thicker and it's a little heavier than the Thermarest, but it's comfier because it's so thick, because of all the air that it has in here. I do have my Sea to Summit down pillow on that. There's this pillow lock system supposedly that comes with these sleeping pads and pillow combinations. I don't think that's a load of BS, but still a really nice pillow. An expensive pillow, but a really nice pillow. Next, I have my 0 Degree Mountain Hardwear Bishop Pass sleeping bag. I have not gone over to the quilt people. I'm sorry, I'm just not a quilt guy. I like my mummy bag setup, especially the way that the mummy's thing cradles my head with another pillow inside it. I have my Sea to Summit Thermalite Reactor sleeping bag liner. A lot of people hating on the liner, but I love the liner. It's just a nice little addition. It's super soft, just gives me a better night's sleep. And then on top of that, I have a down blanket, a really lightweight down blanket that I got from this company called Get Out Gear. This is much cheaper than the Rumples that I've been seeing at REI, like a lot cheaper. And it seems to be working really well. I kind of like it. These things are really versatile. I'm gonna do more on a blanket situation, but this to go over my sleeping bag and give me a little extra warmth works great. I've got Dan Becker's favorite Thermarest compressible pillow. Now, I hate this pillow for backpacking. Dan loves it. I hate it. It's just too big and it's too bulky and it doesn't compress at all. For car camping, for this kind of thing, it works great. So this combined with my Sea to Summit pillow, my 2-pillow setup, I'll be nice and comfy. And last, I have this lightweight, big fleece blanket that I got from Cabela's on sale for like 30 bucks. It's probably overkill, but it's super soft. And yeah, why not be warm? Why not be toasty? I mean, I'm in a pretty controlled environment, so. And with all that, I'm pretty sure if my stove goes out, I'll be good to roll. Well, good morning. As you may notice, I am in my full clothing and the stove is gone from the tent again. I don't know. These things take a skill, and I guess I just don't have it at this point. But at about 5 o'clock, I was woken up to my carbon monoxide reader here beeping at me, and noticed that the tent was filling with smoke. Here's the chimney. In this chimney is a grate here at the top. And that grate has formed, I don't know what this is, but the black soot here has built up and basically shut off the chimney. So that's why smoke was coming back down and into the tent. And at this point, I'm not sure if I want to go get just a more expensive, better stove and try this again, or get a Mr. Buddy heater for something like this, something that I could just not have to worry about smoke or feeding it at night, just set it with propane and forget it. So this bell tent is awesome. This white duck bell tent is absolutely incredible. It's easy to set up. I'm a huge fan of having this and combining this with a sled. I am going to take this out in the winter a lot, and I think this will be really fun to have. Everything that I did with this whole setup, I think, was on point. The way I set up the floor, the way I put the tarp down below, the logs I used, it's really just this heating source. So let me know if you have any suggestions, any way that you keep your hot tent warm, buddy heater or fireplace. If you haven't seen it already, check out this video with my first hot tent experience. I got some gear reviews down here. YouTube thinks you'll like this one. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.